Welcome to Ferncliff. We're open.
We're open.
We're open.
We're open.
Hello, my name's Joel Gill and I'm the Executive Director at Ferncliff. Ferncliff staff is excited to tell you a little bit about what we've been up to this past year and how we fared during these unprecedented times. Take a look. Like most places, this year at Ferncliff has looked like no other. As we entered the pandemic last spring, we lost hundreds of reservations for conference groups, retreat guests, and our summer campers. Following directives from the Arkansas Department of Health, we canceled almost all our previously scheduled programs and faced a new reality. In the midst of that change, we were open to the guidance of the Spirit as we discerned our next steps and prayed for the funding that would see us through.
Here at Ferncliff, we quickly realized that we have the gift of wide open spaces. This gift has felt all the more precious as we learned that open spaces reduce COVID-19 transmission. So we followed the Spirit in finding new ways to share this gift with others, like through family time field trips, where quarantining folks could get out of the house and take a walk in the woods.
The Disaster Assistance Center stayed open. We continued receiving goods through our Sharing the Goods program and leaned into our existing online store to keep the goods flowing out through curbside pickup. We were able to support dozens of agencies and many community handout events across the state. We also assisted with the distribution of 100,000 masks through Presbyterian Disaster Assistance and an additional 25,000 masks to local churches and nonprofits. While our usual volunteer streams dried up, it was Presbyterian groups who showed up 6 feet apart to continue the work needed to keep our disaster assistance supplies at the ready, and boy were they needed. We sent disaster relief buckets and kits to communities recovering from hurricanes, fires, tornadoes, that derecho because 2020, am I right?
As our summer plans shifted, we stayed open to the bright side. A summer of Jubilee for our site to rest and be renewed. We set aside intentional spaces where the grass didn't get mowed and habitats were left to their natural cycles. We looked for new opportunities to use this time to improve our buildings, like renovations and energy efficiency upgrades to the Brown Center while it was unoccupied, because no one wants to touch fresh paint. Site support funds from the Presbytery helped us to maintain the 30-plus buildings on site and keep them in good condition for future use. We deep cleaned, and deep cleaned, and deep cleaned. Did you know there are 116 toilets at Ferncliff?
One way that we utilized our Summer of Jubilee and our wide open buildings was through making Camp in a Box. With summer camp support funds from the Presbytery, we were able to bring on a few summer staff, the Jubilee team, who put together 1,500 boxes for campers unable to come to camp and for VBS kids unable to have a VBS week near them. These boxes provided a week-long at-home experience for elementary kids, taking some of the pressure off of parents and church staff. As Department of Health restrictions changed, those same summer staff were able to host a few weeks of socially distanced day camp, where we spent almost the whole day outside in the open. We learned a lot about COVID sanitization and how to play games 6 feet apart and how to tell when it's ninja time. Ferncliff Forest Church, a 1001 new worshiping community, has also utilized the gift of wide open spaces at Ferncliff to continue to worship outdoors once a month throughout the pandemic. Several local congregations have utilized Forest Church worships as an in-person gathering option for their folks, which has opened new possibilities for future ministry partnerships.
Many times we found ourselves open to the possibilities of doing things in a new way. Our nature preschool had traditionally shared one space for multiple preschool classes, but to keep classes safer, we separated. The nature preschool moved to the Eco Center and opened this year for 3 classes of forest kindergartners.
As we listened to the needs of the local community, we opened a program for elementary students choosing virtual options for schooling to spend their days here at Ferncliff, with some study hall time and the rest filled with outdoor nature play.
We saw an opening for supporting churches through more box kit experiences, and so we developed Advent in a Box, filled with supplies for the 4 weeks of Advent. Socially distanced volunteer groups were able to put together another 1,500 boxes for folks all around the country. Through funding from the Synod of the Sun, we were able to develop an edition more appropriate for older adults. The Presbyterian's Mission Committee enabled us to send boxes to Presbyterian Village, Vera Lloyd, and other churches in this presbytery. In the same vein, we've developed Easter in a Basket, a box for Holy Week designed to be intergenerational. If you're looking for a way to support your church family this Holy Week, we've got just the thing. We're also open to what summer 2021 will bring. A full summer of day camp, the return of mission teams and guest groups, and a few weeks of overnight camp. We're working hard on our plans now to keep our campers, staff, and guests safe this summer.
Like you, this year we also spent a ton of time on Zoom. We even set up our farm to be Zoom party animals.
Many of the ways that we've stayed connected with you have been on Zoom. And we're so grateful for the folks from the presbytery who have brainstormed with us, troubleshooted with us, read through our drafts, and helped us to see what doors God was opening for us next. Understanding that Ferncliff's income has been completely upended by the pandemic, we're so grateful for the financial support from this presbytery and from your churches that have helped Ferncliff to weather the economic impact of this pandemic and to stay open. Open to God's call, open to you. So hear this as an open invitation. Our doors are always open to you. Give us a call or send me an email. We would love to have you out and to hear what new thing we might do with this open space next.